It might happen. We might have UBI, but when that happens and the government is forced to print more money, the value of those units, UBI, dollars, whatever you want to call them, they're going to be less. They're going to be because you're pricing them in satoshis, and the more there is of something in satoshis, the less it's going to cost you. Whether that's dollars, whether that's cars, whether that's real estate, the more of those things that exist, as we produce more of them, their price actually goes down in satoshis, which is a totally different lens to look at the world through. It is very difficult. As a guy who talks about this stuff every day, it's very difficult to fully wrap your head around that. But that's part of moving from a system. We reference it all the time. It's like going from horse and buggy to cars. It's easy to say, and it's easy to like somewhat conceptualize that and grasp it, but like to fully understand what those people went through at that time in history of traveling in horseback compared to on a highway in cars, that's a huge thing. And fire, people who lived before fire versus after, these are huge things that happen in civilization that nobody can really comprehend until we get to the other side of it, and we're just not there yet.
I wanted to say, I was listening to a story about how in the past, when people would travel, let's say between different cities in the US, it would take 20 years. So let's say you're going from one place to the other. You left with one group of people, and by the time you get there, it's a totally different group of people. Everybody's aged 20 years, and people have died, and people have had kids. That's crazy. Today, you do the same trip, and you're the exact same person, right? And now people are complaining, oh, why can't I get there even faster, right? And that's exactly what happens. Technology improves, but again, the thing is that nothing can increase the supply of Bitcoin. Nothing can improve the supply of Bitcoin. The supply of Bitcoin will always be exactly the same, no matter what. That's what we want you guys to really understand here. That's the key. Everything can be improved. Technology can, security can be improved. The abilities to hack a website can be improved, but nobody can increase the supply of Bitcoin.
And make sure, if you do nothing else, understand why that is. Because once you understand why that is, it changes the way you look at everything. So when you have a fixed amount of things, then again, we titled the show Bitcoin at 75K. Yeah, it's cool. It makes us feel good. It's good for our egos. Our purchasing power, I guess, has gone up, in the last day. But like, we're still measuring in a fiat system with unlimited amounts. We have no idea what they are. It's impossible to really value anything in the US dollar just because of that. So I don't know. It's going to be a rocky road to the other side of it to get to the traveling on a Model T car, but we're going to get there. We're going to do it. We're the guys right now in front of the cars, or in front of the cars, flagging, letting them know that these aren't a horse anymore. This is a car. That's what we're doing right now.
We definitely need those today.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely do.
Well,
Gretch on the tear.
What do you want to get into next? Sorry, Brandon.
I rug pulled this earlier. Well, Sailor, just keeps buying, just keeps running people over, stealing everyone that's capitulating in the chat right now. Everyone that's screaming and crying hasn't studied Bitcoin yet. You're missing your chance. You're missing your chance. I mean, this is Sailor's. He's going to buy all your Bitcoin. And if someone said like, well, where's he getting all his Bitcoin? It's like, well, he's getting it from the people that are selling, that haven't put in their time and done the homework and studied this. It's just wild.
In a day.
It's just, it's crazy. And Schiff, someone mentioned Schiff too, and they said they were studying Schiff, and Schiff, Peter Schiff is, we mentioned him earlier. Peter Schiff is a very smart guy. Unfortunately, he knows so much that isn't so, as the old saying goes. And it's very easy as a Bitcoiner, when you listen to someone for, I'd say 30 seconds to a minute, right, maybe max, you can tell just by the words someone uses, do they understand what they're talking about or not? And that's if you're an expert yourself. Otherwise, if you're not an expert, you tend to get Gell-man amnesia, and you think, hey, if this person says they're an expert and then they're talking, but you have no idea what they're talking about, you just kind of take it as gospel. It's just like human nature, and that's Gell-man amnesia. So we do that a lot in media and politics. That's why they put every under title, they say experts say, oh, the sea level is rising, whatever experts say, it's just like, it's a clickbait title to get people, they know that people's brain just like accepts a lot of it immediately because they're not an expert in climate science, or they're not an expert in Bitcoin. They're not an expert. That's why they say, oh, Bitcoiners are psychopaths. Oh, Bitcoin could crash. Bitcoin's a Ponzi. Bitcoin boils the oceans. Bitcoin, it's all these things. And look, it's a 4-letter word 17 years later. It just keeps growing. The fundamental of the network, the hash rate, the security of it just keep growing. Everything keeps getting stronger and better. So those that need to know. If you know, you know. But you get at the price you deserve, and it sucks saying that, but it's also true. And so people who are going to fight it, the ego, the pride, the hubris. Peter Schiff being probably the most public example of that, and just not being able to put his ego aside. It's blatantly obvious. And when you hear him talk about Bitcoin, and then he says something that totally rug pulls what he's saying, like, well, they're just gonna print some more. Satoshi's gonna like backdoor it or something like that. And so like he sounds very smart. It's very sinister because he's very smart in the legacy system, the plumbing of the old system, history, things of that nature. But he is blinded, unfortunately, by fiat, which is really the gold and silver market, which is paper. It's all really done on paper. Now there's no one, we're not final settlement through gold and silver. And he runs a paper fund. He runs Euro Pacific Fund. So he's a paper guy. And so if he's over here talking Bitcoin and really grokking Bitcoin and putting in the 1,000 hours of work, then he's rug pulling himself, and he's blinded by those incentives. And that's where it's very difficult. And this was me 5 or 10 years ago too. Like, and I've tried to tell this story too of like, I was that guy too 10 or 15 years ago with gold and silver and real estate. I come from those worlds, but you cannot see the Titanic sinking when you're on the Titanic. I mean, it's the analogy I use all the time. Only when you get on the lifeboat and start moving away can you see, oh my gosh, we did hit an iceberg, or there was something that struck it. We don't know what, looking at you, JP Morgan, and this thing's going down. And that's, you cannot see it. It is impossible. Someone mentioned this earlier too, so it made me think of this. You can't see it from the current financial system we're in. It's literally impossible. And so only when you back away, get on the life raft of Bitcoin, really, get into self-custody, start understanding what's happening, then can you see the scales falling from your eyes, and you can actually see the thing is starting to list. People are reading their newspaper clippings on the thing. Well, it can't sink. The US dollar network can't sink. It's impossible, guys. We price everything in dollars. What do you mean? You're insane, and you're jumping off on a life raft right now. People are voting for a new captain after the explosion happened. Well, that's like politics at this point. And then people are trying to jump into gold, and they're trying to jump into stocks, and that's just like shuffling deck chairs. I mean, that's like, what are you gonna do? You're still gonna be 12,000 feet under. And so that's the world we're living in. Ego, pride, and hubris.
Yeah. And I mean, anybody who promotes the idea of tokenized gold, you should question every other thing they say, because it's fundamentally flawed concept. It goes against the idea of owning gold. It's like, the reason to own gold is to have some level of sovereignty and ownership over your assets.
Mind-blowing.
And tokenizing it is not that. It's ridiculous.
In the podcast so he did a debate with Robert Breedlove, and he was saying how tokenized gold is not an IOU. It just represents gold. And Robert was like, sorry, it wasn't Robert Breedlove. It was Mark Moss. He's like, Mark Moss was like, but that's what an IOU is. It's
a representation.
Right. You don't have the thing. And he just couldn't grasp that concept. It's like, if somebody, like, let's say, for example, if you were to try to describe the internet to somebody 4,000 years ago, like, how would you even get to that point? That's where he is right now, right? He just doesn't get it. He doesn't even understand what counterparty risk is. He doesn't understand that gold tokens have counterparty risk. So there's...
Yeah, and it's probably like self-serving, right? Maybe he does understand all of these, but as Brandon pointed out, he benefits from paper gold. He has a paper gold fund. This is his business, and he's benefiting from us talking about him right now because of his relation to Bitcoin. In my opinion, this guy is a marketing genius.
Yes, yeah, genius.
He is going to get everyone who loves gold and hates Bitcoin is going to be a huge Peter Schiff fan. And there's a lot of those people out there, and they're going to support his business in some way. And that's why he's so relevant today. And Brandon, you said, and I agree, he's got great takes. There's some old speeches and lectures he's done, some stuff from the Occupy era.
Oh yeah, legend.
That's great. It's awesome. But he is totally just milking his connection to Bitcoin. I mean, he's invited to Bitcoin conferences. It's insane. And it's all just to enrich himself, in my opinion.
Yep. That's why I never answer him online. Like, I hate talking about him, but people are bringing him up. So
I did it for the cufflinks.
Yeah.
The thing with Peter is, like, I think that in this world that we're moving into now, we're really going to notice the difference between something that's fake and something that's real. And gold is still real. So like Peter's going to do fine. And I think Peter also knows that the majority of his audience will never hold their own keys to Bitcoin. Like it's the reality of things. As much as we say it's very easy to do, it's just a different generation of people. They don't trust things that they can't hold. They just don't understand it. They're so far away from it. So, I hate to say it, but if I was in Peter's position, I don't know how much I would change either. Like, what would it benefit Peter right now to come out and say, "Hey, I've been wrong about gold for this amount of years. Bitcoin's a way to go. Sorry, everybody. I've been misleading you for the last 10 years. I'm an idiot. You guys were right. You're smart. I'm dumb. You're good looking. I'm not very attractive." Like, what's he supposed to come out and say here?
It's quite a hole to dig himself out of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but he also, like you guys mentioned there, he also benefits from like the whole debate because it's making his audience grow. He's getting more energy, and that's what all these people want. So, I mean, I get it from Schiff's standpoint. I really think that deep down, Schiff knows that he's wrong.
He probably owns Bitcoin. Let's be real. Someone said in chat too. He probably does. I mean,
how would we know?
He's not a dumb guy.
His wife
just is a great marketer.
His
wife's
a great marketer.
His son does too. His son has like some large Bitcoin, public Bitcoin thing, I believe.
But here's the thing too, is like, if that's the case, he has a bunch of gold. He's great. He has some Bitcoin. He's great. His family has Bitcoin. They're great. Peter, to me, even though he's a shyster, he's a very smart guy. But it's not like he's out here pumping up like XRP or Solana that are clearly just like thin air shit, right? Like gold's something real. Like it's going to have some value in this new world, even though it's going to significantly underperform Bitcoin. It's still going to have value. So nobody's going to be too mad at Peter Schiff at the end of this. I don't think anyways. It's not like he's misleading his customer base into something that's worth nothing. Gold is still worth something. It's just not what Bitcoin is. And, it just doesn't really make sense for him to change his stance at this point.
Yeah, you can't make a necklace out of Bitcoin. He's going to be rich if everybody wants gold necklaces. Because I don't know. It's my theory that a lot of things are going to get demonetized, and the vast majority of gold's value is its monetization, right? It's been monetized by central banks and individuals around the world who believe in the history of it, and they've been proved right. It does hold its value. It's in certain time frames, it's outperformed these productive assets like S&P 500, which is the 500 best companies in the best stock market of the world, right? So people that have been gold holders have been right about their thesis. They're just wrong that it deserves to be monetized into the future. It deserves to have been monetized in the past, and it simply just does not work. I mean, this is part of the thesis of Broken Money, Lynn Alden's book, where she said as soon as the telegraph was invented, information could travel faster than settlement, and gold no longer worked. In paper, gold was the only way to transfer ownership of assets to make deals when information could travel so fast as a telegraph. And now think about how fast information travels, and think about how much throughput there is in something like Lightning, and how much finality there is in the final settlement of a massive decentralized ledger like Bitcoin on chain, right? Which does, again, when it's not even, I mean, we've mentioned XRP and these other things a couple times, but they're not even worth mentioning because you're settling nothing with that. You're settling a decentralized and name only centralized ledger that can be corrupted, manipulated, and ultimately doesn't have any real value behind it because it is not secure and final.
Yeah.
So I guess Sailor's going to get all the Bitcoin.
Sailor is everyone's screaming and crying. It's mind blowing because, everyone knows intellectually that you buy low and you sell high, and it's just like, but no one can seem to do it, this goes back to like the whole thing earlier, like, why do we price Bitcoin in dollars? It's because humans are emotional. We're not rational. You know, like if we were rational, logical beings, and we use that part of our brain first, then in 2010, once Laszlo had initiated this price, the first transaction with the pizzas, then everyone would have got it. Within the next couple of months, it would have been like, boom, yes, let's go. Need it. We don't have this fiat garbage they're printing right on the backs of the GFC, all the massive printing, in the UK, Chancellor on the brink of a second bailout, here in America as well. And look, we're 17 years later and we're still fighting, still talking about the same. Okay, I'm gonna be nice here because we all come to at different times, because I can feel myself ratcheting up here very quickly. It's the same. I mean, we have AI now, guys. Like, go in, do your homework, go ask all the questions you could possibly have to the AI. Like we're in an energy world. I truly believe, again, this is not an IQ test. This is an ego and humility test. Pure and simple. There's no getting around that. No amount of arguing could ever change my mind about that. It's purely pride and hubris. We go back to the Schiff stuff, not to bring him back up again, but everyone you talk to, it's constantly people getting in their own way. We all had to do this. None of us here, the four of us here, were not the first people in Bitcoin. We had to put our ego aside and say, yes, I am not the first person here. I will not have 1,000 Bitcoin. I will not have 10,000 Bitcoin, but it's okay because there's a greater mission. There's a greater purpose. It's the most secure network. It's the best money humans have ever seen. It can do the greatest good for humanity. And that's something worth fighting for. And that's where the will of the people has just been broken. There's so many people that's completely broken across society. And I'll be damned. Like, I'll live in a cardboard box and go out fighting for honest money.
Amen.
And so we don't have to be doing this bullshit again. And that's to me what it's all about. And that's the difference between many Bitcoiners and all the other people out there, all the fiat maxis and the fiat maxers and the fiat apologists and the gold guys and the NFT crypto bros, XRP guys, XLM, whatever, ADA. They're there for more fiat. They're there for more of the same system. And I'm tired of it. Like, it's people that are scared of the future. They're just completely scared of the future. They're scared of their own shadow. And Bitcoin is there, the truth just ticking away every 10 minutes. And people, it's the ego that keeps you from doing the work. Then it's putting it aside and saying, yes, you know what? I'm not the first person here. You're still extremely early. That's what's really sinister. You're still extremely early. And yet you still won't put your ego aside. It's time to look in the mirror.
Yeah. The ego's the big one, man. Like, there's like everybody here in the chat has exposure to Bitcoin, likely, like 90% of the people here probably have some Bitcoin. I bring up Bitcoin in, a friend circle or something like that. Somebody asks me what I do, whatever. Everyone I talk to about Bitcoin, the first thing they say is, oh, I could have bought that when it was $3,000. I first heard about it when it was this. Who cares? Everybody has that story. Everybody has that story. Everyone. I was 2014 messing around with a Bitcoin ATM at a restaurant. I didn't buy any Bitcoin then because I didn't know what the hell it was. You didn't know what it was when it was $3,000. You're not going to buy it. You got to know what it is and then put your ego aside that you didn't buy it when it was $3,000 or less or whatever, and get yourself some Bitcoin. Like, it's that simple. And it's definitely an ego thing for the vast majority of people. Like, that's the sort of the first hurdle is the ego thing. And then there is a knowledge component without a doubt. And then there's just an action component of like getting over fear, getting over laziness, and understanding that you have to own some of this.
I actually spoke with someone yesterday whose father-in-law is a financial advisor. No, sorry, it was his friend. It was a family friend who was a financial advisor, and he didn't want to buy Bitcoin because he was worried about offending his friend, his family friend.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't buy it because I just can't have that conversation with him because he's told me that Bitcoin's a scam, and I don't want to go through and ask him why he thinks it's a scam because he's going to get disappointed in me. Like, you're just already setting yourself up for failure before you even started.
That's what I was going to say. Like, the other part of like layering on top of this is like having a set of balls.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Raise the T. I mean,
like, I saw Cold Deck in the chat here said, my brother-in-law literally said, I'll buy Bitcoin when the government says it's okay.